So to start our circle, you're going to hold your yarn and hook as normal, and then you're going to make a slip knot using this method. So put your hook to one side of the working yarn and pull out, then rotate your hook 360 degrees to make this twist. This is what I use instead of a slip knot. Now I'm going to pinch that twist and I'm going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this first chain here, we're going to open this up and use this instead of a magic ring, and then 1, 2, 3, those 3 chains are going to count as our first stitch. So to open this first chain up so we can use it as a magic ring, I'm going to take that strand there and pull it. And what that does is that opens up that chain nicely so we can crochet into it. If you struggle with a magic ring, this is a really good alternative. So I'm going to make 11 double crochet if you use US terms, or 11 treble crochet if you use UK terms, into this magic ring we've just created. You could use a normal magic ring if you prefer. So to make our double crochet, yarn over, put my hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we're going to make 10 more stitches into that magic ring. I'm going to speed this up and meet you at the end of this round, so pause your video now until you've made those 11 total double crochet stitches, or 11 total treble crochet stitches if you use UK terms. So I'm now at the end of the round and I've made 1 chain of 3, which counts as our first stitch, and then 11 more double crochet stitches. So we're counting this as our first stitch, remember, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's our first round finished. So now grab that tail and pull it, and what that does is that cinches that centre closed, so we don't have a big hole anymore. To finish off round 1, we're going to slip stitch into the top of this chain. So we've got 1, 2, 3 chains, so we're putting our hook into that chain there, then we yarn over and pull through everything on our hook. So that is the end of round 1. To start round 2, start with a chain of 3 again, and that counts as our first stitch. You're now going to make a double crochet if you use US terms, or treble if you use UK terms, into that top of that starting chain just where we made that slip stitch. And then in the top of each of these stitches all the way around our first round, you're going to make 2 double crochet if you use US terms, or treble crochet if you use UK terms, into the top of each stitch. So every stitch is going to have 2 stitches in. So let's work those first 2 stitches together. So I'm going to make my first stitch and then my second stitch. So they went into that same stitch. So I've got 1 stitch in one row is going into 2 stitches in the next row, and this is actually how we increase in crochet. So you're going to do this all the way around. You're going to work 2 stitches into the top of each stitch. At the end of this round you should have 24 stitches, because our first round was 12 stitches and we're working 2 stitches into each stitch, so that's 12 times 2 is 24. So I will meet you back at the end of this round and I will show you how to start round 3. So I'm now at the end of this round and I'm just going to count round. I should have 24 stitches. So remember, we are including this starting chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we've got 24 stitches. So for each round of this circle, we're actually going to increase by 12 each round. So for the third round, we're not going to be working 2 stitches into every stitch again. So what you're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the top of that starting chain, just like we did in the last round. And then chain 3, and remember this counts as our first stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one of those increases into every other stitch in this round. So we're going to do 2 stitches in that first stitch and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So let's see what that looks like. So I've already got 1 stitch in my first stitch, so I'm going to make another double crochet into that same stitch, and then in the next stitch I'm just going to do 1 double crochet. That's double in US terms or treble in UK terms. And then in the next stitch you're going to work 2 double crochet, so that's 1, 2. So you can see there we've got a group of 2 and then 1 and then 2. So in the next group we do 1 and then the group after we do 2. And then you're going to repeat this all the way around your circle, and you should end up with 36 stitches because, like I said, every round we increase by 12. So what I'll do is I'll crochet around and I'll meet you back here, and then I'll explain what you do for every row moving forwards. So here we are at the end of round 4. I've counted my stitches and I've got 36 all the way around. So for this row and all future rounds of our circle, we're going to increase by 12. So what that looks like is row 4 would be a total of 48 stitches because our last row was 36, so 36 plus 12 is 48. And what that looks like is an increase, so 2 stitches in 1 stitch, and then we work 2 stitches with 1 stitch in each. So we're doing a group of 2 and then a 1 and then a 1 and then a 2 and then a 1 and then a 1 and then a 2 and then a 1 and a 1 and a 2. So every time we move up a row, our increases get 1 stitch further apart. So this is row 4, there's going to be 2 stitches between our increases. For row 5 there would be 3 stitches between our increases, and that's how you can make a circle to any size you want. These work really well as like coasters and table mats. So I've made my chain of 3 for round 4, and then I'm going to do a double crochet if you use US terms or treble if you use UK terms into that first stitch. So that's my increase. And then into the next stitch I'm going to work 1 stitch and then repeat again. So I'm going to do 1 stitch, and then in the next stitch I do an increase. And then I would repeat this all the way around. And if you follow that formula of every round you increase by 12, then that should work. What I'll do is I'll bob a written pattern down in the description so that you've got something to refer to if you want to make your circle even bigger than this. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and you'll probably enjoy the tutorial I've popped on your screen now if you've liked this one. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more crochet tutorials.